One thing everybody wants to know, it seems like you're being very patient with your next MMA fight. Do you have something planned?
Nope, nothing planned. Just being patient, relaxing, just enjoying life and building the content on YouTube and the podcast. And
Crushing the podcast, by the way. One of the best podcast shows, one of the best shows. And really, and I don't want to cut you off, but I got to give you flowers on something. You are one of the most, I would say, like, vertically integrated media athletes I've ever seen come out of fighting, and you're one of the GOATs. You're no doubt about that. I've never seen someone take what they've done in a sport and then translate that into media as hard as you have.
Thanks, man.
Incredible show. That's one of the main reasons when I first contacted you. I was like, yo, we need you on JAXXON because of just what he embodies, like top of his game in everything he does. Like, how much better can you be of a winner than that, you know?
Thanks.
Perfect example for the next generation currently fighting.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's important that everybody builds their brand. And I think for me, me, Rampage had wars of gaming on fucking Twitch, and it was kind of like me kind of segueing into, you know, I had Chael on the podcast, and he was saying, you know, he's a fan, but he can't participate by fighting anymore because he's older, right? And that time's going to come for me and for all of us. So the way I can participate and still be a fan is by, you know, creating a podcast and just covering the sport. So
with all due respect, though, you doing way better than Chael, because I can't listen to that motherfucker.
You can't listen to Chael Sonnen?
No, I can't listen to the show for more than like two minutes. Then
Bear will turn it on, just sit, and he just sits there by himself, just staring at
watching. He goes,
imagine just being the only man, like, he doesn't interact with people. He just interacts with himself the whole time.
With those glasses on, and he's like, yelling.
Oh, here. Oh,
Chael.
Gotcha.
Oh, my God.
I think it's a different swag. I enjoy it because he brings a different perspective to certain situations, right? Like, when he was talking about on the podcast, like, he was saying that, you know, when you're an interim champion, right? They only make an interim champion when the champion cannot defend the belt. So for Jon Jones, he couldn't defend the belt because he tore his pec muscle. So they had to fight with Tom Aspinall. He won the belt. Now, as we all know as athletes,
that's not always the case.
Yeah,
they couldn't come to an agreement with Francis Ngannou, so they created a belt like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And made you know, Ngannou, what's his name? Ghana belt for nothing.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
So,
you said Gangnam Style?
Gangnam Style. They wanted they couldn't come to an agreement with Francis Ngannou because he wanted like $1 million, which was absolutely, you know, on par. And then they wanted to pay him like $750 or some bullshit. And so they basically said, fuck you. We're creating an interim belt right away. No, like, he was only out for a couple months.
Yeah. And so, and Chael Sonnen brought it to attention and goes, okay, so the interim champion means he should be fighting the champion right off the bat. That's not the case with Jon Jones, right? Because Jon Jones is going to fight Stipe Miocic. So the interim champion is supposed to sit there and wait. But by law, in like the regulations, once Jon Jones steps in the cage, he is stripped of his interim champion because the champion has returned. There is no longer for interim champion. That makes sense? So he brought that to my attention. I was like, oh, I never really thought about that. And he goes, it's the fucking truth. He goes, if you look at the laws of the interim champion, you look at the fine print, that is what it's meant to be. And I'm like, oh, I never thought about that, right? Like, for all of us, we're like, huh,